Good morning. My name is Onepeg MG, and this is the news. As always, if you guys would not mind considering following me on Twitch, Twitter, and joining my Discord community, there will be links in the description. Following these uploads, I tend to go live immediately afterward. So if you guys would be so kind as to join me on stream, that would be very, very cool as well. Now, we have some patch notes. We also have what appears to be an alternate reality game, or ARG, as well as some information that is probably not going to make people a whole hell of a lot happy, but at least they're trying. So first, we have our patch notes. Now, there isn't a lot going on here, really, aside from a couple of major bug fixes that we've all wanted to see. They've talked about some freeze optimizations and things that they're trying to fix with stuttering and lag and that kind of stuff, as we always see. But there seems to be at least some fixes for the bots not being able to shoot through the elevators like they have been, as well as it looks like they're fixing the penetration of breakable glass and fences, where there was some crazy refraction going on, and that looks like it's now been fixed. As well as they have a note here about the RPK-16 now being correctly placed in the LMG category for mastery, so that's good. They also list here a bug with updating the number of available offers on the flea market. There were people that were complaining they weren't able to list more than one item at a time, regardless of how many available offers it said that they had. I personally had never experienced this bug, but other people were complaining. It looks like that got sourced out. So again, good housekeeping kind of stuff. However, that leads us to a tweet that came out around the time that they announced that the patch was happening. And in this case, Battlestate says the lab will not be available for the game at the time of launch after installing the patch due to the need for critical edits. They obviously want to make sure that the bugs associated with lab, like the AI pathing, for instance, is fixed. So I get the point. Aside from that, I guess we're just going to be making customs and interchange great again for now. And people are probably going to go back to being more broke than they are getting rich. The farming of the AI seemed to be something that was a little bit over the top, even for myself included. It allowed people to play a lot more loosely than I think they would normally, which for me was a good thing. I was having a lot more fun with the game personally, but I can see where this can be really exploitive and kind of takes the survivalist aspect of the game off of the table, right? There are also reports of additional bugs now that the patch is live, where people are saying that they're spawning in with guns in their hands and then they go to run forward and the gun is staying behind, kind of floating in the air, and that's not going with them. I'm assuming that that's going to be hotfixed. As well as people saying that their stamina bar is now only lasting about 10 seconds. It's super small in terms of the stamina pool, or the expending of stamina is super high. So we're not really sure exactly what's going on there, whether that's intended or not. But if there's a fix for that, I'm assuming that's coming in short order, and I will be interested to see how things come with the lab's changes, whatever they are. Now, our last story has to do with an ARG, or alternate reality game. If you're unfamiliar with what an ARG is, it's essentially a way for the development team of a game, in this case, usually associated with some kind of a puzzle or decryption of some kind, either through imagery, sound, or text, that allows players to get a little bit more immersion in figuring out a puzzle kind of out in the real world, where it's spilled over from just the in-game universe into our own. We've seen in the past other games that have done this, with games like Battlefield 4, for instance, and games that have done this very, very poorly from a player standpoint, like Overwatch. If you guys are unfamiliar with these historically, I would invite you to check out some of them. There are some very, very, very good ones that, like The Binding of Isaac, for instance, that have been very, very cool to at least read about the history as they have progressed. But for the purpose of this ARG, it's been centralized around the Russian Discord community. I'm guessing maybe it's because it's just easier for them to do. You know, the game is centralized in Russia. They natively speak Russian. Maybe it's just a little bit easier for that to go on there. It doesn't seem like there's much going on the English side of this, but all of this obviously has been translated insofar as the duration or time that has been spent over the last few days with this. So just let this stand as a summary. So on the Russian Discord, there was a gentleman that showed up with the name 534-55250-4F56. Blackened hood, no real picture, and started speaking in code. What it came down to was people realizing that this person was speaking in MD5 And originally the name was thought to be T5RPOV, but it eventually ended up being realized as Serpov, SERPOV. There was this message about 51 streams getting notified, message send, message received, stand by. Once the community realized that the encryption was MD5, they started trying to communicate with them. 3 days left, MD5 almost unreal to decrypt. So maybe this is a little bit of tongue-in-cheek kind of stuff. MD5 decryption, and it was super easy to decrypt, but I digress. Excuse me, MD5 almost unreal to decrypt. And Serpov says, some hint to our plan, new map, new trader, the beginning of a new or end of the past. And then Serpov says, you got tired from routine, your aspiration was forgotten. We understand, we want to give you answers, we will give them to you. Hint, once per day, 3 days, Serpov started to act where? So between these clues and these clues about streams getting notified, that led people to start searching out for streams on Twitch. And eventually it was discovered that this account with the same icon as what was displayed on Discord was discovered, of Nikola Serpov. Now, we don't exactly know what this is all about, but apparently 51 Russian streamers got sent a message. We don't know what those messages were. Maybe they were also encrypted. But in addition to that, there was also this one final hint that was shown where someone asked them about, time frame or timeline, and the response was February 2019. So I don't know if this means that we're getting another hint on February 1st of 2019, or if this means that the reveal is happening on February 1st of 2019. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Lastly, there were 3 other clues that were given that had to do with different YouTube videos. And this is kind of where everything has stopped. The links took us to these 3 YouTube videos. The Inception Soundtrack HD, Number 3, Dream is Collapsing by Hans Zimmer, which we don't really know what this is all about. Dance with the Dead, The Man Who Made a Monster. And lastly, the Enigma TNG, Nightmares in Paradise, the full album. So we don't exactly know as of yet, or the community doesn't know as of yet, what exactly these YouTube videos are referencing. It could be that there are multiple clues kind of embedded in this, or maybe this is the soundtrack to whatever is going on over the next 3 days. I don't really know. The interesting thing here is that it looks, I guess, spooky would be a good way to put it. I don't know if this is alluding to some kind of cult thing like we had been talking about before, or if there's some other plot, some other side plot that hasn't been really discussed as of yet, or if this is leading up to the book release because there's another book coming. I'm not really sure. But it will be interesting to see how all of this plays out, and you'll be sure that I'm going to report on it, as always. So that's all I have for today, guys. Hopefully whatever the small bugs are that is going on in the community will be worked out, and we'll be able to get back to business as usual. I'm looking forward to the labs reopening up after they fix whatever it is that they're working on. But until then, I will see you guys very soon, and I will see you here tomorrow. Thanks.